heaviness, a weight unrelated to laziness or surrender, but a different kind entirely. The exhaustion born from years of relentless effort, from striving, from pouring your soul into mending what keeps breaking, from bending against the wind hoping it will calm, but it never does. You rise each day, do what's required, maybe more. You overthink, overgive, overstay, yet everything seems frozen in place. And deep within, a faint but unsettling whisper creeps in. Maybe I shouldn't try so hard. This is the first thread in the fabric of trust, the first step out of the exhausting spiral that swallows you whole. The world screams at you daily, work harder, wake earlier, do more, fix every flaw. This relentless narrative makes us believe the only solution to any problem is more effort. But no one whispers the other truth, the one rarely spoken. Sometimes all you need is to trust, not to force life, but to make space for it. Because some forms of success aren't born under pressure, but in moments of alignment. When you stop chasing people, they come to you. When you stop hunting for answers, they arrive one by one. When you release your grip on life's plans, they finally align with you. It's as if you've been clutching a locked door with both hands, forgetting it opens only when you trust. Trust isn't delusion or passivity, it's a deep internal balance, peace with the unknown. It's allowing life to surprise you, not scare you. It's understanding that absolute control is an illusion, and real security comes not from clenched fists, but from loosened hands. Trust is breathing when you want to scream, silence when you want to justify. Stepping back to see the full picture. Yes, it's hard. Trust feels like leaping into the unknown blindfolded, especially if your life has been built on endurance, on forcing, on tightening and adjusting. But it doesn't weaken you, it moves you. It redirects wasted energy from what you can't change to what you can. Yourself, your choices, how you engage with life. What we often miss is this. Over-effort isn't always virtue. Sometimes it's a quiet sign of distrust. When you don't trust yourself, you overdo everything, explaining, performing, defending, proving, even to those who aren't asking. You exhaust yourself because deep down you fear that if you stop, everything will collapse. But the truth? It won't. It might finally stabilize because you're no longer fighting life, you're listening. Alignment comes not from struggle, but from harmony. From showing up fully, without tension, without fear. When you trust, you attract. You don't beg, chase, or plead. You simply draw in what's meant for you. Trust means allowing things to be. Embracing silence without rush. Living slowly without guilt. Because life's truest beauty, pure love, inner peace, real growth doesn't bloom in chaos but in quiet spaces. In the rhythm everyone ignores. Here's the paradox. The more you try to control, the more powerless you feel. The heavier you become, the more you need trust, not more pushing. Trust doesn't force outcomes, it whispers, if this is mine, it will find me. This isn't surrender, it's wisdom forged from experience. From doors forced open that led nowhere. From relationships chased that brought only disappointment. From paths you insisted on only to realize they weren't yours. When you're tired enough, when you're exhausted from forcing life, you begin to grasp trust's power. You redirect energy from fear to peace, and that peace opens doors you never knew existed. You grow without self-punishment. You move forward without burning out. This is trust's essence. It returns you to yourself, to your rhythm. When you trust, you quit the endless race and start living. not as if you're chasing life, but as if you're letting it meet you. You stop rushing, not because you've abandoned goals, but because you've learned haste isn't progress. Sometimes it's sabotage. You no longer fix every discomfort because you know comfort isn't always health, just as unease isn't always danger. Between them lies patience. What holds you back isn't always lack of effort, but clinging to a plan that doesn't fit. A version of life that isn't yours. Goals that no longer serve you. Ambitions built on fear, not desire. When you release them, the path appears. Not magically, but because you've stopped blocking it. This is the shift, from frantic striving to harmony. From constant anxiety to clarity, from proving yourself to remembering yourself. You discover life rewards not the impatient, but the patient. Not the loudest, but those who listen. Not those who endlessly assert, but those rooted so deeply in their calm that the world can't ignore them. Trust doesn't create quick results, it creates lasting ones. When you truly trust, not the theoretical kind in motivational quotes, but the deep trust that lives in your chest and guides your actions, everything shifts. Delays no longer panic you. You see them not as failures, but as invitations to pause. You sense something larger at work, arranging the scene even when you don't understand. You ask not, why is this happening? But what is this making space for? This is the transformation, from desperate reaction to mindful presence. The blind chase ends, a quiet realignment begins, because the truth, often realized too late, is this. You might achieve your dreams, but arrive exhausted, empty, far from yourself. What's the point of success if you've lost your soul reaching it? Trust isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. The safeguard against internal collapse, the emotional security that protects you from your own urgency. It creates a sustainable path. Force builds one destined to crumble. When you move from trust, your engagement with the world changes. You no longer betray your values to please others. You no longer silence your intuition for the sake of fitting in. You no longer cling to relationships or opportunities out of fear, but because you feel worthy. Your steps become more deliberate, kinder. You hear your body's whispers of fatigue. You leave spaces that drain you and find yourself attracting a different reality. One where you're not performing, but being. People notice. Not because you're shouting for change, but because your energy has shifted. You've stopped resisting life, so life shows you its true face. It flows through you, not against you. Here's the critical misunderstanding. Trust isn't passive waiting. It's active faith. Showing up without compulsive strain. Rising each morning not to prove, but because you know something beautiful is on its way. Even if unseen. From this place, your actions grow purer. You stop fleeing discomfort, you learn from it. Think, how many rushed decisions came from impatience? How many relationships, jobs, or opportunities did you settle for because you didn't trust better was coming? Trust reprograms you. It reminds you, your worth isn't measured by speed, but by alignment. Over time, you're freed from the need to curate your image in every conversation, from the fear of loneliness that traps you in unhealthy bonds, from the illusion that you must perform to be loved. You wait, not lazily but wisely, for what resonates, for what brings peace without costing your soul. You accept delays as refinement. In trust, every no becomes protection, every silence, fertile ground. Every delay, preparation for a wiser version of you. You stop measuring progress by numbers or likes, but by the depth of your breath, the lightness of your heart, the presence in your reflection. Trust doesn't make life easier, but clearer. And with clarity you discern. You say, "This isn't for me," even when it looks perfect on paper. The question shifts, not, "Will I get what I want?" but "Does this align with who I'm becoming?" This changes everything. You stop chasing to fill voids. You listen to your true desires, the voice you may have long silenced. You ask, "Do I actually want this, or am I just accustomed to chasing it?" Trust creates space between you and the urge to control. It lets you slow down, observe, see, and from there you choose wisdom over panic. You stop accepting less, not from rebellion, but from the quiet knowing that you deserve better. You no longer explain yourself to those who won't hear. You no longer chase those who don't value you. You no longer bargain pieces of your soul for scraps of love or attention, because you've stopped seeking outside what can only come from within. And when you do, you become a magnet. Trust isn't loud or theatrical, it's a quiet assurance, a calm that knows its place. And this calm attracts life to you. Richer opportunities, healthier relationships, deeper conversations, not because you force them, but because your energy doesn't lie. Those who live in trust emit peace, and others respond. You receive what nourishes, not drains. You walk with your fear, not from it. You embrace silence. You trust that if you keep moving from balance, you'll arrive where you're meant to be, not where you've forced yourself. If any of this resonates, if you feel something soften within, it's a sign. You're ready to release control, to embrace peace, to let trust lead you into a new chapter. So take a breath. Press pause on the anxiety. And if you've made it this far, leave me one word in the comments: trust. That word tells me you've begun to align,